Welcome to the Tech Ranch, live and local here on Super Talk 1270. The latest gadgets, online security, websites and apps, social media, and so much more. How can technology help you? Let's find out. It's time for the Tech Ranch on Super Talk 1270.
From our studios in beautiful Mandan, North Dakota, along the mighty Missouri River, here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
Meerkat, Periscope, live stream, Blab, and other live video platforms are changing the landscape of how we gather information. Miss Metaverse, Katie Aquino, will be joining the discussion later to talk about all these different platforms. You know, even the Paris thing over the weekend, amazing how many video streams are coming out of it with some of these platforms here. So we'll be discussing how we're getting our news and that type of thing with those. Jim and I are also going to go over the top 50 inventions of the last 50 years, according to Popular Science. That should be kind of a little fun. At the control panel, Mr. Producer Extraordinaire, Jim Walsh.
Hello.
How is it going,
Is the camera turned on today?
It is turned on.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me put on my glasses.
Okay, hang on a second here.
Cool. Oh, hang on.
Keep talking.
Okay, I'll just keep... there I am. Hello, me. Hi, how am I doing? No, I'm doing great. I guess, is this my 15 minutes of fame?
It is, yes.
Okay, why is everything backwards in the camera there?
You know, when you have a camera on, it actually is reversed like a mirror.
Oh.
Believe it or not, when you're looking at yourself, when they see it on the other side, it's not. But when you look at yourself here, it's just how it is.
I was going to say, everything is backwards.
It is. It is. Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. So we're actually broadcasting live on Blab today, blab.im. So if you want to go check it out. I
have some friends on the service, and they're very happy with it.
You know, so we're checking it out today. We're not streaming on Meerkat. We're going to try out Blab here and see if people, and they'll have a chance to ask questions on there if they like or
Meerkat
whatever.
Manor.
Miss Metaverse will be joining us on Blab later as well, so she'll be in here.
Will we be able to see her?
We'll be able to see her
Finally.
as well. So, and unfortunately, because of the internet issues I was having getting in here, I didn't have time to set up this fancy dancy camera that you see up here, Jim.
Oh, this thing, it looks like a minion sitting here on the control board?
What it'll actually do is it'll move back and forth in the studio as we're talking. So that way we don't have to have multiple cameras on us. It'll actually just...
You mean like rotate or...
Yeah, when you start talking, it'll actually move over to you.
Oh,
so that's right.
Over.
That's right. So
let's look at this guy for a while.
That way they can look at Mr. Blues himself. So,
Mr. Blues.
Yeah, yeah. So did you have a good weekend?
Okay. This whole Paris thing kind of put a damper on everything.
Yeah. So how were you getting your news from Paris? I mean, were you... watching television? Were you
a lot
online?
of it through social media, Twitter, Facebook.
Okay.
I actually almost got in trouble because somebody this morning sent me a story about how supposedly ISIS had come out with this hit list.
Okay.
And please listen carefully to this. If you're half listening, you'll misunderstand me. But there was a story that ISIS had come out with a hit list that included several people at Minot Air Base.
Oh.
But the story was 6 months old.
Okay.
It was from back in March of this year.
I remember that story,
I do, too, now that you mention it.
Right.
Because I was ready to break in on the air this morning and say, well, we just got the story here that it's affecting my... No, it was from 6 months ago.
Right. So that was basically old news.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose it's possible that it's still current.
It is interesting that they would single out Minot or people on Minot base.
Right. Well, I know I had heard rumors that, every state in the Union has some type of investigation going on with ISIS.
Well,
So it is interesting, kind of scary.
And it's weird because every state likes to think that they're at the forefront of it, that, they're going to come after us. Yeah, I don't know. I can see from a military standpoint why North Dakotans would be concerned.
Sure.
Because we got all these nukes sitting around.
Yep. But it is probably the most difficult place in the Union to get to, or one of the more difficult. But
then again, it's not really a sexy target, like New York is, or Paris.
Yep.
Paris, the hub of Western civilization, and New York being New York.
Yep.
Those are sexy targets.
And I don't know if anybody picked up on this, but we have 9/11, and they were talking about Friday the 13th. This all happened on, right? That is actually 11/13. They really like to play these games with these
I know,
dates
and it's
things,
ridiculous.
Don't they?
It means nothing.
I know, but I
just numbers.
It's just numbers, yeah. But anyway, we'll get into more fun stuff. I got a new toy over the weekend.
Oh, do tell.
I have a new drone.
A new drone?
Yes, I have the DJI Phantom, the big boy. Yes. So I haven't put it in the air yet. I charged up the battery over the weekend, and I need to learn a little more about it. But yeah, it's a new Phantom 3. Surprised I could get it, actually, because it's been difficult to get.
I'm waiting for somebody to develop a drone hat. You can put a hat on it, it'll carry you around. Remember Beanie and Cecil? He had the little propeller on his hat.
Yeah.
He'd turn on the propeller and fly around.
That might be a little ways off yet.
Yeah. I'm not going to hold my breath waiting for that one.
But I'll get some footage this week, hopefully, and maybe we'll throw it up. In fact, if you and I want to go out, do you want to get some footage of something that you can throw up on the website sometime?
What kind of, you mean of us?
Yeah,
flying?
Or maybe of the station or something,
Yeah.
Might be kind of fun.
I mean, we got this big backyard out here. I'd say give it a couple of days to dry out because with the rain we've had, it's still kind of squishy.
Oh, really? Okay.
I would imagine.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's plan for that sometime.
Yeah, next dry spell we have, we'll go out there and run around and try not to hit the the tower or the transmitter.
I'm guessing
knock that down.
Yeah,
there's $10,000 right there.
Let's not do that.
No.
So, all right. So, top 50 inventions of the last 50 years. So, before we start, I'm just going to write down, what are your thoughts? Give me a couple that you think probably made the list.
Well, obviously, the whole digital explosion has changed people's lives so drastically.
Okay.
That's the big one in my mind.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm trying to think about alternative fuels. The jury's still out, I think, on what's going to work and what isn't, solar or whatever.
Okay.
Or nuclear. I think nuclear power came before 50 years, though. I think it's older than 50.
Yep.
I think they were working on that back during the war.
I believe so.
II. Yeah.
Yep. So.
Well, the big one to me is digital.
Okay. Then
what else?
You're throwing computers and all of that into that mix, or internet? And,
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Breakthroughs and things like medical technology. My God, a trip to the dentist compared to what it was 50 years ago. It's a whole different experience.
It is. All right.
It's almost pleasant.
We'll kind of get into this a little bit here, but I guess we won't get into it too far. But the first one on the list is the TV remote.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, and this goes back 50 years, but when's the last time you actually tried to change a channel on a TV manually?
Oh, those days were barbaric. You'd actually have to get up and walk all the way across the room.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
I remember that very, very well. But you only had 2 or 3 channels to choose from anyway, so
it
wasn't too big a deal. I
guess.
Had
3. Every town had 3 channels, plus maybe if you were lucky, you had the public public channel.
Right, that would be it.
And once in a while, you'd get some channel from a couple of hours away.
Yeah. But yeah, it would be, and back then there was actually something to watch. Nowadays we have 400 channels and nothing to watch. So that's kind of how it is.
I think Bruce did a song about that.
I think so too. Well, after the break, everybody, Jim and I will continue our conversation on the top 50 inventions of the last 50 years. And of course, we'll be talking about live streaming later in the hour. So come on back.
Right now, 48.
Jim Walsh, live weekdays at 11 a.m. on Super Talk 1270.
Follow the Guru of Geek at Facebook.com/The Tech Ranch or Twitter at Guru of Geek or TheTechRanch.com. Here again is your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we want to thank all the listeners across the country and around the road who join us on the Blueberry Network. We're on Tuned In. We're on the Roku, on Apple TV, on Blab. We are on Blab today.
Blab.
We want to thank all the people who are following us. If you're interested, you can hop on to blab.im and check out what we got going on. Jim, I'm already getting requests. People want to actually see you as well.
Oh, no.
I know. So that's why I'm turning the computer a little bit.
I have a lot of relatives.
We will be working on that, everybody. We actually have a remote camera in the studio that we just didn't have time to get set up before the you can see Jim waving there now. So we'll occasionally turn the camera so you can see him as well.
Now, what is this thing here, the thing that doesn't work?
That actually is a camera that moves. So it rotates. Yeah. I'll just show everybody here. So this thing actually will turn.
It looks like a minion.
It actually does. That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
So
the one big eye in the middle there.
So what'll happen when we have that thing set up, when you're talking, it'll move over to you so people can see you. And then, of course, when I'm talking,
it's attracted to the sound of my voice.
That's correct. Voice, that's correct.
The cool. Waves of voice, whatever.
Yes. So that's sound how that'll work. So we're excited to have that going on. But we want to welcome everybody from Blab. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in there. We're actually talking about the top 50 inventions in the last 50 years. So we'll be going through that later in the show. Miss Metaverse, Katie Aquino, will be joining us, and she'll be joining us in Blab as well. And we'll be talking about these actual live streaming technologies, these platforms. So we'll be going through Meerkat, Periscope, Blab, Livestream, and the pluses and minuses to all of these. So stay tuned.
I like
for
Mel
that.
Brooks, his selection for the best invention of the last 50 years.
What was it?
Liquid Prel.
And why did he pick Liquid Prel?
Well, I mean, as opposed to what? A computer? You know, if you have a computer in your medicine chest and it falls out,
right,
it's going to break.
That's true. Prel,
Liquid Prel? No,
don't
you're
have to
safe
worry
there.
about it. Yeah. Love that. So we were talking about before the break. The first one we talked about was the remote control,
right?
Of course, TV remote. The next one on the list is the microwave oven.
Yeah.
When's the last time you used a microwave?
Over the weekend, I made popcorn.
Okay.
My wife and I were watching Doctor Who, and we made popcorn.
But I'm betting most people in this audience probably their lives would be a lot. I don't know the best word to say that, but it's convenient to have a microwave. There's no doubt about it.
Everybody in the world seems to have the same story about the microwave. Those of us who were around when it first came on the scene, we all said, this is malarkey. I'm never going to use that.
Right.
And then we used it once, and we were all hooked for life.
Yes.
Oh, this was great. Wow.
I remember my mother the first time she got a microwave, and she's a very late adapter to technology.
Yeah.
And I showed up for Thanksgiving dinner, and she had it in her head that she's going to cook the entire Thanksgiving dinner in this microwave, including the turkey. So
maybe it could be. I don't know how well the turkey would come out in the microwave.
Hopefully she's not listening, but not so well.
Well,
in that instance, at that time,
it'd be great for zapping it the day after. You got some leftover turkey.
Exactly.
You want to make a sandwich out of it, or ground it up, make chili, and all those things you do with leftover turkey. It's great for that.
Well, I will say that dinner was supposed to be at 2, and it was after 8 before we actually ate anything because it just didn't work. I mean, it just didn't work well. So
probably not the good time to be experimenting.
Not at all. Not at all. So on the list, this is a list from Popular Science, as a matter of fact, is
Popular
birth control.
Science.
Birth control pills. On the list,
and they're finally coming out with a male pill. Another year or so, supposedly, the male pill is coming out.
I believe it's something that you inject into your arm, correct?
I think so, yeah.
And it just kind of stays there, yeah. The jet airliner. The Boeing 707 debuted as the world's first commercial jet airliner. So cruises at 600 miles per hour. So that was a big deal when it came out.
I remember a thing called the Whisper Jet. Eastern Airlines came out with this in the mid-'60s. Right about the time my grandfather died, my mom went to Florida for the funeral to say goodbye to her father. And she took this new thing, it was called a Whisper Jet, where they had redesigned the engine so they wouldn't make as much noise.
Okay.
Something we kind of take for granted today. Apparently, the early jetliners were very noisy because of the engines.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, very good. Cordless tools.
Cordless, yes.
So, I mean, you think
My dad sprained his wrist one time because he got it caught up in the cord.
Really?
Wrapped up in the cord, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, and actually, that is an invention thanks to NASA. NASA's the first one that started using cordless tools, and I can't imagine. In fact, nothing irritates me more than when I have to use a corded tool for something nowadays. I know sometimes it's the battery runs out or whatever, and you have no choice. But it has made a world of difference for everybody.
Now, was that the space shuttle, or was that before that?
Actually, the space shuttle and the Apollo missions.
The Apollo. I was going to say Apollo, yeah, because if you're on the moon, you know where to plug it in.
Right.
So you got to bring your own power.
They would charge it up, and of course, I would imagine solar had a lot to do with it back then even. So the industrial robot. So robots being used.
They sure don't look like the way we imagine them, do they? Remember those mechanical men? Is
that how you envisioned them when you were younger?
Well, when I was a kid, just based on science fiction.
Yep.
Whatever was on the science fiction, on the Outer Limits or whatever.
So
Twilight Zone.
You envisioned, like in a factory setting, that there would be these mechanical-looking people that would be moving things or welding things or whatever.
Yeah, like the old Looney Tunes, where they had that music, that mechanical music, and you'd see the little guys with the beeping heads.
Yep.
Beep, 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 and they'd be manufacturing things and doing silly stuff.
And if you think about it, where we're at today would not be possible if it wasn't for industrial robots, because there's no way you and I could put together a computer board, for example, and do it reasonably quick and reasonably cheap. I mean, there just would be no way that would happen.
Even sober, I couldn't do it.
I love that. Let's see, communication satellites.
Yeah.
Look how that has changed.
Arthur C. Clarke, that was his idea.
Really?
Yes, the author of 2001 came up with that in the 40s. He said, let's take 3 satellites, put them in orbit, synchronous orbit above the Earth. They would be stationary because they would rotate with the planet.
Okay.
So they'd always be above the same spot on Earth. We put 3 of them around the world, and that way we can cover the whole planet. That was his idea.
Yeah. And imagine right now. Now we have mini satellites or drones in space, as we call them on the show here, that are being deployed all the time and able to take a photograph of the world every minute now. I mean, or every day. I mean, it's amazing.
There was a great video in the 60s, the BBC, the Beeb. They did a show where they did it by satellite for the whole world from England. It was called Our World.
Okay.
One of the features was the Beatles.
Okay.
Doing, at the time, it was their brand new song, All You Need Is Love.
I love it. So
with John and the whole gang, I think Mick Jagger was hanging out with him, and Marianne Faithfull, the whole gang there.
Let's see, LEDs.
I
mean, just those little lights. I mean, your whole board is lit up with LED lights.
Yeah.
But would you have imagined that the LED, even 20 years ago, would be the lighting of choice nowadays?
Yeah. I mean, we could very well have been sitting here with little candles in front of the board. Yeah.
But I mean, now you can buy bulbs with LED and all this other stuff. And the energy savings that's producing is amazing.
Right.
It really is.
Now, what about these twirly light bulb things?
Those
are they
actually
catching on?
You know, because LEDs are kind of coming on pretty strong now. I think the twirly fluorescent bulbs and all those, you know, they're still being used. I use them. You know, they don't turn on as quick, though, as you've noticed.
Really?
They're a little slower starting and that type of thing, just like a regular fluorescent bulb. They've gotten better, but...
the old fluorescents were like that. My aunt and uncle had fluorescent lights in their bathroom.
Okay.
And anytime I visited them, I turn on the switch, and you have to wait for about 5-10 seconds for them to flicker on.
Right. So you know, the LED is becoming a big deal in many different areas, and of course low heat with LEDs as well.
Yeah,
you know, so you don't have to worry about them. They do still get warm, but they're not like the regular light bulb.
Not like the old-fashioned GE incandescent light bulbs.
Exactly. Unmanned aerial vehicles.
Like drones.
Yeah. So 1964.
Which is really not that new. I mean, we've had them before.
We've had them for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just that they are now becoming pretty sexy and of course, available to pretty much everybody. So, all right, we got to move on quickly here.
Yeah.
Video games, 1962.
That early?
That early. The polio. Go ahead.
I was going to say, what do they look like in 62?
Like this. I actually
you
have a photo right here. I'll put that up on the blab screen.
Yeah.
That is the first video game, everybody.
The earliest I remember was Space Invaders.
Okay.
And then after that came Pac-Man and a few of the other early ones.
Right. Yeah, in the early 80s when they start becoming more popular and available. So
remember we talked with the guy who developed we talked with the guy who did the song Pac-Man Fever.
Right. Yes, just a few weeks ago. Yeah, that was kind of fun. So other things on the list, we're not going to make them all here, of course.
Yeah,
but,
I think Katie's on the line, too.
All right. So are we at that point?
Hey, Katie.
Hello.
Hi. We were just talking about you.
Oh, were you?
Yes.
Yeah, everybody, Miss Metaverse, Katie Aquino just joining us. And
we got a break in about 30 seconds here.
We'll just we'll finish up real quick here, Jim. On the other big things, of course, the computer on there. We're going to have to just actually spend a whole show on this.
Yeah.
In 1962, the computer mouse. 69, the automated teller machine, so the ATM came out. 73 was the cell phone.
Yeah.
In 79...
What about stuff for your car? That'd be something to talk about.
We should do that, yeah. The Walkman in 1979 was a big deal, of course.
I remember how amazed my father was that this little tiny thing could give him all this stereo sound filling his eardrums.
It's amazing, actually, yeah. And I had a couple of them myself. 78 was GPS. Hard to believe that's been around that long as well. 84, DNA was something that was coming on the horizon.
Well, they discovered it.
They did,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're out of time, Jim. So after the break, everybody, Miss Metaverse, Katie Aquino, will be joining us, and we will be talking about live streaming and all the other platforms for video. So come on back.
Right now, 48.
Bismarck Bobcats hockey action. Follow the Cats here on Super Talk 1270.
We're back to the Tech Ranch. Stream this program now at supertalk1270.com. Here is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And welcome back, everybody. We are glad everybody's joining us today. We are on Blab as well. And joining us from New York, Miss Metaverse, Katie Aquino. Katie, how you doing today? Uh-oh, hang on one second.
Okay, try it again.
Try it again.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
There we are.
got you.
My bad.
So how's it going in New York today?
Good, really good. Just
Good.
Another day here.
Yes. And you're getting over your cold, or are you still fighting it a little bit?
Oh, don't even go there. It's so bad. It's been like 70 degrees and then 30 degrees. It's all over the place. I'm hanging in there.
Well, you look fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
Well, of course we have you on, and it's kind of exciting. We're not meerkatting today. We're actually doing Blab as instead. Been playing around on the forum for the last week, and I know, Katie, you were kind of introduced to it this morning. I know you were familiar with it before, but we got on and talked a little bit this morning. And so what's your take of Blab to start with here?
Well, the first time I found out about Blab, I was at the 2015 Maker Faire.
Okay.
And that was back in September. And one of the tech journalists there, I was actually broadcasting one of the Q&As there on Periscope. And one of the other tech guys came over to me and he said, oh, you're on Periscope, huh? Well, he's like, it's good. But, I really feel like Blab is a lot more welcoming and it really connects you to people. And I didn't know what Blab was at that time, but then I ended up doing a little research, and it did seem cool. I just didn't end up trying it yet.
The one thing that I see right now, and I don't know how you feel about this, but this is the first time you and I have actually done an interview where we can see each other.
Yeah.
It actually adds kind of a different dynamic, doesn't it?
It does. I don't know if I should be staring at the microphone or if I should be staring at you.
Probably the microphone's a better choice, but I'm just saying. But yeah, it is kind of cool that you and I are actually having a conversation while we're on the air over terrestrial radio. So it's a very, very cool thing. So, so you have a lot of experience with Periscope, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't you tell us about your experience with Periscope and then some of the things that you've seen going on with Periscope. And then, of course, I've got some experience with Meerkat, so I'll explain some of the things that I've seen there.
Cool. All right, so Periscope, I joined Periscope when it first came out. I was one of the first people, and I thought, wow, cool, this is my first opportunity to get in as one of the original people on a new app that seemed like it was going to take off. And I have to say, Periscope did take off. It was like an overnight sensation. Periscope launched back in March, and it all began with a bunch of tech people, and it's always like that. A new app starts, and it's all techies that get into it first, and then it builds out from there. Then you get the celebrities and so on. And that's exactly what happened with Periscope. It just began as a bunch of techies using it, and then we started seeing celebrities using it. And then we started seeing how there was a bunch of ordinary people all of a sudden becoming overnight celebrities because of Periscope. I really liked it a lot. And I started doing a daily feature scopes and always talking about the feature and doing my little thing there. And I liked it, but I have to say there's been a sharp drop-off of people using Periscope now. And I don't know if it's because they don't have a way of regulating trolls and people that have negative things to do and say there, but there is a sharp decline.
Really? I wasn't aware of that. I actually thought it was still expanding.
No, I'd have to say, a lot of people that I was following, and also myself, I've noticed that a lot of the original people have just kind of dropped off and stopped using it as much as everybody was, say, during the summer.
Okay. So have you watched events or news feeds or anything like that through this Periscope platform?
Yes. Now, with the recent horrible tragedy in Paris, one of the most incredible things I noticed with that horrible event was how many people were going to Periscope to watch what people were broadcasting live and almost to experience what was going on there firsthand. And even when I started doing research on videos online, trying to find out what happened and everything, it was people's Periscopes that were being shared. So it is being used. It is very important. I think the Periscope does have a feature. I just think that maybe there are a couple features they might have to work out to bring those original people back. Yeah,
absolutely. And of course, there's a little more competition too. Meerkat actually came out, about a month or two before Periscope, and Periscope was Twitter's answer to competing with Meerkat. Of course, I've used Meerkat for a little while. Same experiences, kind of. The thing I like about Meerkat is you can embed a code into your website. So if you're meerkatting, people can just go to your website and watch what you're doing, which I think is a very cool feature. I'm not sure if Blab allows you to do that yet, but one of the cool features with Blab, of course, is that after we're done with this broadcast now, we will actually, because we're recording it, you'll actually be able to grab it and download it. You can download the audio, that type of thing. So it's pretty cool in that regard. So there's a lot of cool things going on between all the different mediums, and I just think it's fantastic that we're able to maybe experience some of these things through other people's eyes than just the media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so right now we're actually on Blab, and we have friends here with us sharing their thoughts, and they're sharing that Blab does allow embeds as well.
Great. So, yeah, that's fantastic. And I know that I did a Blab here a couple days ago, threw it up on my website, and people are able to watch that afterwards. So there's a lot of great things with Blab that I think are fantastic. So one of my experiences was with Livestream, though. Have you ever used Livestream?
Well, I know that Livestream allows you to broadcast on your Facebook page, which I thought was really cool, but I haven't besides that. Have you?
Well, when Ferguson happened, what was that, about a year ago or whatever now?
Last summer.
Okay, so I did a little experiment because I was really curious to see what was going to happen. So I actually pulled up Livestream, and there was actually somebody that was in the crowd outside the courthouse while the attorney was actually reading off the verdict. And so I had the screen with the verdict being read, and then I also had Twitter going on, and then I had live stream going on, so you could see what was good. And this is the good and bad with social media, in my opinion. When he read that they were not going to prosecute the police officers involved there, all it went out on Twitter was that the person, they were not guilty or not being prosecuted or whatever. The whole crowd, you could see the whole crowd just light up because everybody's getting their Twitter feed, getting this stuff in. But you only got 140 characters to do this. So everybody's getting riled up because they didn't hear the whole story in the crowd. And that's the kind of my opinion there. If they could have heard the whole story, people still would have got riled up, but maybe it wouldn't have been as extreme as it was. But all they heard was 140 characters and what you could put out with that. So anyway, you could see what was going on with the crowd because of that. And we're starting to see more and more of that because of Periscope and Meerkat, and I'm sure other platforms that will be coming out as well.
Yes. Well, I believe that where we're headed is the digitization of everything. We're all becoming digital. And there's so much happening with virtual reality that will be coming out as well. So I think that now we're going through that phase where it's like, ooh, cool, now we could really see each other, not just have, one-on-one conversations through our smartphones and devices, but also we could see multiple people. Now we have this big chat room full of new people who are coming and discovering our show, and we're able to chat with them and show up to 4 people at the same time. And I think that virtual reality and augmented reality are just going to add that real next level where we're really going to feel like we're starting to live in a science fiction movie.
Yep. I got to tell you, I'm actually really enjoying this because the ability to be able to see you as opposed to just listening to you is just like a whole nother dimension for a radio show. I got to tell you, this is pretty cool. We'll have to continue to do this, I think. We have a camera in here that we didn't have time to get set up today, Katie, but it actually will move back and forth. So when Jim is talking, you'll be able to see him and vice versa. So that'll be kind of cool as well. So do you see any other platforms on the horizon?
Well, there's constantly new things coming out all the time. There's so many different ones. As far as live streaming goes, I think that the top ones are the ones we've already discussed.
Okay. So how do you see this? Let's transition to maybe a business or a nonprofit organization or whatever. How can you use these mediums like Periscope, Blab, Meerkat to maybe enhance the message that you're trying to get out?
Well, I believe that all these platforms are really great for having your own niche and really letting it speak volumes for you, because you could connect with a lot of like-minded people on all those platforms. I think that, like you said before, being able to embed your stream on Meerkat was really cool, and for a while people were doing that, so you could have your own show. But I think that was the problem that we discussed before. We weren't able to have each other, we couldn't have multiple people in the room. Now, I think that Blab is really cool. I actually have to say, I think that it's I'm catching on to it now. So
sure. I think one of the things would be, we probably should clarify this with people who are listening on terrestrial. I'm getting caught up in the video side of it here, but if you've never used these before, Meerkat and Periscope are actually available on your smart device. So when you're at an event or whatever, all you have to do is stream, the event that you're at. They probably aren't real excited about this when you're attending a concert and those type of things that you pay for. But if you're, at a picnic and you're having a family reunion and you want to share this maybe to your family or some friends or whatever, whoever follow you, if it's a business event or whatever, you can actually just use your smart device and start showing that off. It's fantastic. And, of course, Blab has that feature as well, but it's more interactive because you can invite people into the room. You can have up to 4 video streams at a time. People start asking questions, making comments just like they're doing with us right now. So absolutely fantastic. And I would certainly recommend people to go to blab.im and go check this out because it's very, very cool. What do you think, Katie?
Sure is.
All right.
Sure is.
Yeah, after the break, everybody, we will continue our conversation on this. And Katie wants to talk a little bit about the new Samsung VR that's coming out. So come on back.
Right now, 50.
Bobcat Hockey, live on the radio or anywhere with the Radio Pup app. SuperTalk1270.com.
Follow the Guru of Geek everywhere he goes. Post your comments or questions at thetechranch.com. Once again, your Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson.
And again, we want to thank everybody who's joining us across the country and around the world on Blueberry, on Tuned In, on the Roku, on our own app, Radio Pup. And, of course, we're broadcasting live on Blab today, blab.im, and normally on Meerkat, but we thought we'd try Blab. We're really enjoying the experience, Jim. I don't know, what do you think of this?
Okay, I think we just lost Katie's
back.
visual. Oh, she's back? All right.
You got to remember, we have terrible internet on our side here, so we get a challenge with that occasionally. But yeah, what do you think, Jim? I mean, are you liking this?
I am liking this a lot.
It's really interesting when you do an interview, and you and I being in radio, you a lot more than I have, of course, but you never get an idea about, when you talk to somebody on the phone, it's a totally different conversation than when you have somebody that you can actually see. So, you and I, when we go back and forth every week on the show here, it just is a different experience than when we're interviewing people. I feel like we have that now when we're using Blab, where it's like conversing with you and I directly right here.
A real connection?
Yeah. I just feel that way. It just adds a whole nother element to talking to somebody, So I really think it's pretty cool.
It is a game changer,
it really
the
is.
idea of being able to see the person.
And I know, picking on Blab a little bit, as I've been going through it, you love that name, don't you?
Blab.
I used to use that as a kid. Stop blabbing or whatever.
Don't start blabbing.
Yeah, exactly. So I find it interesting that it's kind of come back a little bit. But the cool thing that I find with Blab is that there's so much information on this forum, this platform. Katie, I don't know if you noticed when you were going through it this morning, but the rooms are full of, real estate people, social media people that know how to put on events. I mean, this is a wealth of information that people are willing to share with you, and I love that.
Me too. When I first signed up today, and today is my first day, and this is my first legit Blab, so welcome, guys, and thank you for tuning in.
Your first legit Blab. I like that.
It's my first Blab, and I apologize. I can't seem to turn my mic off my phone somehow.
Okay.
I have no idea, so we'll
That's
figure
okay.
this out. But anyway, you're right, Marla, this is awesome. There's so many free classes you can participate in and learn things. There's so many cool classes you can check out, like everything from decorating your house to contractor work and things like that. There's a lot of different things on Blab you can see.
So if you're, a do-it-yourselfer, if you're wanting to maybe increase your business through social media, if you want to learn how to sell, I mean, there's just all kinds of great things that you can find on Blab. So now I know that, where we're going to here is kind of a futuristic look of where we think these platforms are going. But Samsung has just come out with a game changer, in my opinion. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, yes. The Samsung Gear VR is releasing soon, and it's very exciting. And what is going on? We have a problem.
Yeah.
Well, we can thank Roma for that one.
There you go. There you go, Roma. Stop calling Katie now.
What is going on? My phone just totally freaked out.
So anyway, Samsung VR, and basically, I mean, is this a set of glasses that we're going to be able to wear?
Yes. Okay. So I'm actually just turning my phone off now because I don't know what just happened. Sorry about that. Okay. So yes, the Samsung Gear VR is priced at $99, and it's going to work with Samsung Galaxy devices such as the Galaxy S6, the Galaxy S6 Edge, the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus, and the Galaxy Note 5. And so if you own any of those devices, you'll be able to use this new virtual reality headset and interact with all the new things, which is great because this is the first VR headset to release, and it's coming out on November 27th. How cool is that?
That's pretty cool. And the price point again?
It's $99, and that is a very, very good price. Oculus Rift, the developer kits, which is all that's been available so far because Oculus Rift is not yet available, they were priced at around $350 and up. So I think that for $99, this is a very, very competitive price.
So are you thinking that sometime in the future, forums like Blab and Periscope or whatever, you'll be able to actually watch these streams in your glasses?
Yes, I think that there's going to be a lot of changes in the way that we broadcast and share our media, and I think that virtual reality is just really beginning. I think it's just going to keep on developing more and more, and I think that we're going to have our own avatars and a lot of very neat things. They'll be emerging of virtual reality and also our everyday reality in one, too.
So what other things do you see with virtual reality that will enhance our lives?
Well, everything's going to become digital, so you'll be able to shop in a digital space, but you could also have a virtual world that's just as important as our everyday world. Then you could be trading and buying services. There's going to be whole new markets created out of virtual reality that people will be enjoying and interacting with in their everyday lives. You can go and experience places before you even go and visit. If you want to go shopping or go into a store, using these virtual reality devices, it makes you feel like you're actually there and you can interact with the environment. So it's very exciting.
So what about in the world, let's say, of service and repair? Let's say you're a Mercedes dealership. What do you see happening there?
Well, augmented reality is already being used by companies like BMW. And at BMW, what they've been using is augmented reality glasses so that their mechanics can see an overlay of what look like holograms through what they're actually looking at in real life. So if you're wearing these glasses and you're looking at a car, these little holograms will appear and show you how to fix the car in a very specific way. The same will go for virtual reality, but also for the consumers, you'll be able to enjoy it as well. We can now test drive and sit and really feel a car in virtual reality, and that's where it's going to be. We won't have to leave our homes. We could actually try or even take cars for a test drive in a virtual reality space, and that's really exciting.
So do you think that, thinking of the BMW example that you just gave us, do you think that that's going to be something that will be moving to the general public as well? So let's say Jim and I have a refrigerator that we want to fix, for example. I mean, would we be able to put on a set of virtual reality glasses and be able to see through them with an augmented, and it will actually coach us as to how to repair what we're looking at?
Yes, I say this a lot when I speak, and this is something I very much believe in, is that we're shifting into a knowledge economy. Being able to know things and have and share that knowledge is going to be very important in the future. And I think that virtual reality and augmented reality both will have a huge effect on how we share and capture knowledge. So I think that we will be we'll have access to so many things. We'll learn how to DIY anything that we could want to do thanks to this technology. Just imagine if you had this virtual friend or a virtual assistant that would help you figure how to do things out on your own without having to call somebody. It's like taking it another level, just like how we used to print out our maps off MapQuest.
Sure.
We have to go somewhere, let's print off the map. We didn't have navigation yet, but with navigation, all of a sudden it's like, I can't believe I used to print out maps. The same's going to go with virtual reality in the future. I think that we'll be looking back on the way we do things now and be like, oh, gee, I can't believe I used to do it that way.
I was just thinking about, like, Jim and I, when we were younger, we came out of an era that didn't have computers.
Yeah.
And
you and I are old enough to remember a time when we didn't have
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
PCs.
And, you think about, and I'm just putting everything in perspective here, there's a whole group of people there. You and I actually know people that actually rode horse to school.
Yeah.
Do you not? I mean, when you were growing up, didn't you have grandparents maybe or somebody that actually...
Not
I'm
my
talking
generation,
like, right,
but I mean my previous...
Right,
sure.
but at one time, you and I knew these people. And, and you tell this to your children or your grandchildren now that they, we didn't have computers.
Well, I have cousins who are
internet.
just a few years older than I am who tell me of the days when they went to schools with no indoor plumbing.
Right. I know plenty of people who didn't have indoor plumbing yet. So things are changing and changing dramatically, and we're at that cuspus right now of another radical change. And it's going to be
another wave, so to speak.
Yes, and you're going to see that in the virtual reality realm, I think, as well as autonomous vehicles and that type of thing. So, Katie, we're coming up to the end of the show here. Any final thoughts?
No, I think it's exciting. The future is awesome, Arlo.
So why don't you go ahead and come back into the room real quick so you can tell everybody goodbye here. I know everybody wants to probably give you a little last love, even though maybe hopefully we don't get that re-echo going on in there. So and everybody, I will guarantee you we will work that issue out, get rid of that little bit of echo that we got going on. We hope you really enjoyed the show today. Any last thoughts there, Jim? Here, let me turn the thing over for you here.
Oh, yeah, turn the thing over so I can see myself. I just love looking at myself on the internet. There I am. Hello, goodbye.
Well, it's been great, everybody, and we want to welcome everybody who just follows us on Blab. We think it's fantastic. Again, you can find us at www.thetechranch.com. Katie, where's your website at?
Yes, I just relaunched my website. You can come check it out. It's at www.futuristmm.com, and come sign up for the Awesome Future newsletter as well, because I have some cool announcements coming. So thank you so much.
All right, very good, everybody. Have a great week.